guys, we got Tactical, the Tactical Redneck here, and we are in person. This is what it's all about, isn't it?
It is.
How fucking weird is this? I love it.
Yeah.
So, it's awesome. So, Tactical's got a tool bag, a tickle trunk, whatever the hell you want to call it, and you're going to show us some cool tools, aren't you?
Yeah,
Some
this
interesting
is
things.
pretty much, if I'm grabbing something, it's probably on this table right now. So, like, this is my main bag that has most of the stuff that I carry in it. Probably the stuff that I'm grabbing the most is, that's just a pair of, I think it's Velcro hand shears.
So tell me why you have a ball peen hammer. You already told me once, but I think it's a pretty interesting idea.
So I carry a ball peen hammer because I don't carry it, or I don't pull a lot of nails. So there's no hook on this end to get snagged when I'm trying to get it out of the bag. I also do a lot of fencing, so I'm putting in staples for fencing, and there's usually brush around, so there's nothing, this really doesn't get snagged or any kind of brush when I'm working around the homestead. So there are some occasions every now and then I need to get a piece of metal bent or something, so this side makes it a little bit easier, but you know, that's pretty much why I carry a ball peen as opposed to a normal carpenter's hammer.
You're the first person, other than a metal worker, that could ever explain to me why they had a ball peen hammer. I love it. What else you got there?
I have a whole set from Cobalt of their pliers. I don't know what they call them. I know these as fencing cutters. It's a really small pair of bolt cutters, but even if you're doing electrical work, this just makes it so much easier cutting any form of wire. So this is an absolute, with all the fencing, this is a necessity for me.
And they're easy, like, they're not hard to cut with either. Like, they pull easy to do.
They cut straight through wire a lot easier than a normal pair of, you know, wire cutters.
Cool.
So it's the reason that that's become my go-to on that one. This is
I knew what was coming next.
This is another one of my favorites because this is what I know as a Stoltzen wrench or a Ford wrench. It's basically a smooth-jawed pipe wrench. And the awesome part about this is everybody has had the experience where you grab a pipe wrench and you open this thing all the way up and it's like a size too small for what you're trying to do. But I mean, this thing literally,
wow,
that's fully open, so you can see the difference.
Yeah, it's like twice on.
Yeah, and so the biggest issue you'll run into is if you have to open it up this much, you probably can't get the nut all the way in there in between the teeth. But this works really well. I find this really useful to have when you're working like under a kitchen sink, because if you can't get the angle with this one, you can probably get it with this one. So I'll take both underneath the kitchen sink with me.
Probably grabs them, you know, them plastic nuts with the little segments on them. Probably, yeah. Okay, cool.
Yep. And
I gotta get one of them.
I'm a mechanic by trade, so I'm not opposed to putting it down on top of a nut instead of onto the nut. So I'll do that too.
Busted knuckles.
So that's something else that I use a lot out of this bag.
What else you got?
Probably, I mean, I do have a smaller pipe wrench in here. I've got a full set of screwdrivers, and I've got, you know, a full set of pliers. But other than that, the other main one I'm grabbing is, I compared the Cobalt to the Craftsman electrical wire strippers, and this is almost like a set of needle nose, but it's got the wire strippers here, and instead of being smooth all the way across, it has this recessed area in here. And especially with all of the fencing that I do, this is really my preference when I've got to wire two pieces of fencing together to reach through, get a hold of a piece of the wire from the fencing, pull it out, wrap it around, and then when I get to the end, I can use that center section right there to basically round the tail end right up against the other piece of fencing. So I mean,
nice.
I use these more of a pair of pliers than I do as a pair of electrical wire strippers or anything like that. So this is one of my other favorite ones.
What brand are they?
This is Craftsman.
Any trouble with that rubber rolling on you or
No,
sliding off?
I've had really good luck with these so far. It doesn't roll like a lot of the old stuff. These will slide off.
Okay.
So I'm thinking I'm probably gonna try Gorilla Gluing these on.
Okay.
And seeing how that does, and see if it holds, because especially with the way I use these, I am grabbing and pulling a lot. So I'm probably gonna try that with those. This set here, this doesn't go in my bag, but it's just, you know, a normal like screwdriver bit on the back end and then nut driver on the front.
Nice.
So there's certain applications like the 10 mil works on most of the stuff on my four-wheeler.
Okay.
So I can, if I got a problem like I do right now with my four-wheeler, I can grab the 10 mil and this guy. This is not one of the ratcheting ones.
Oh.
I haven't really found one of the ratcheting ones that I really like. But, you know, I've got a stack of bits in there. So if I've got to go tighten a screw, this is really handy to grab, you know, a T25 and a T20 and run out there, figure out which bit I actually need, throw it in here and tighten something up real quick. So that's what I'm normally grabbing that for. Then I've got a 12-foot tape measure that usually just goes in my pocket.
Yep.
And like when I'm doing certain projects, this will just stay in my pocket because I'll wind up somewhere and I need to like take a measurement of something and then go somewhere else. So this will just, when I need it, just live in my pocket. And then, I mean, for homestead purposes, Dewalt for impact, drill,
Good man.
and sawzall. And then I've got the Dewalt tough cases, and I've got my top case has all of the Phillips flathead and Torx bits, the two most common nut drivers that a lot of roofing screws. I've got one extension in here, and then my bottom case is just my drill bit set.
Nice.
So I've got that. And then
How about your reset blade?
my reset blade
What are you using
is based off of your recommendation for their pruning blade, but this one is their demo blade. And I found with this one that you do not get anywhere near the back and forth vibrations when you're using this on brush. And so, especially if I'm gotta, you know, reach up and grab a limb and kind of pull it down and set the sawzall on it, this is just so much easier on you.
Nice.
And it's still, I mean, it'll tear through stuff. So far, I'm really liking this blade. I was using the Dewalt demo blades before I tried their version of the pruning blade. And I'm probably going to wind up swapping to these for most of the brush cutting. And then obviously if I've got to hit something, like I hit a piece of rebar going through some railroad ties the other day, and that worked just fine on that too.
Wow.
And then other than that, the other two things that I use on the regular is just a normal pickaxe.
It's got a nice wide backside
Yep.
on it too. I like that for cutting sod.
Anything with rocks and stuff around here.
Right.
But then this is my favorite shovel that I've ever owned.
Really? How is that attached there? What is?
There is a pin right here and there's a square bolt in there. So you push this in and you can flip it down so that the shovel and pick is like this. Or you can flip it so the pick is up and the shovel head is down. I usually just leave it like this. This is the design that the Germans used in World War II. I bought this used at a surplus store in like the mid 90s, and I've been using it ever since.
So is that a trench shovel? Is that what it is?
It's a trench shovel.
Nice.
And it's just really handy for, especially like if you're trying to like flatten a spot out to set a cinder block or digging post holes. I will start my hole at that width. So I'll just basically go down, come over, go down, and hit each side, and then take a square piece of sod out, start my hole that width, and then if I need it to be a little bit wider, I'll just shave a little bit more off the hole. That way when I'm dumping in bags of concrete, I'm not going through as much concrete. So, I mean, this is just for a multi-purpose shovel. This has become my all-time favorite, and I mean...
It's got a ball in the end there, too? That's cool.
Well, I mean, that's just part of the handle.
To grab, to not slide off.
So, you know, you can catch it. But, I mean, like I said, I've had this since the mid-90s, and it's, what, 2022? So this has been around for like 2.5 decades. This has been all over the world with me.
Oh.
So, I mean, it's just a beast of a shovel. It's one of my favorite hand tools for any type of gardening or moving dirt. But that's, I mean, that's my main kit for what I use around here for pretty much everything, whether it's maintenance. I've got a couple of other things. I've got a PEX crimping tool and a pair of cutters and whatnot if I'm doing some kind of a plumbing job, but other than that, I mean, unless it's some specialty thing like that, this is my main kit for what I'm using, and the stuff that's on the table right now is probably just, aside from some of the screwdrivers, that's mostly what I'm using. So I could strip this down a lot more if I wanted to.
But it's nice to have the tools.
Yeah, I mean, there's every now and then when I was plumbing up the new outdoor shower up there, I wound up using the channel locks out of the bag. I had to use the vice grips to hold a washer so that I could widen the hole in it a little bit with a drill bit.
Yep. Oh.
So, I mean, it's convenient to have everything in there. So I might wind up pulling the wire cutters out of there just because I keep the fencing cutters. So I might pull that out just to lighten the bag up. I just haven't seen the need to do that so far.
Is that an army kit bag or some kind of bag or whatever?
Yeah, that's an old surplus tool bag.
I
I have no idea who made it. I have no idea how long I've had that one, but it is an old school. I think it came from a surplus store, so it was made legit and it's still holding up. I bought some replicas of them and they just don't hold up, especially being in a vehicle. I've mostly spent my time on the southern end of the state, so it gets hot.
Sure.
And you throw something like that in a vehicle and it just bakes and the bag disintegrates, and that one has not, which is why it is my main tool bag right now.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Well, thanks, Tack.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we...
Good to actually meet you in person
Oh
finally.
my God. I can't believe I actually got down here.
Yeah,
We've been 2 years, right?
Yeah, something like that, and you know, we're working on your refugee status, so...
Yes, underground.
Yeah, underground.
But, so, because I'm pretty sure it was just about 2 years ago that you messaged me when you'd heard that I was coming down and you wanted to meet up, and so we could chat and whatever. And then I had to be the asshole to say that Justin Trudeau decided we couldn't leave the country again.
Yeah, y'all are evicting him out of the country, right?
We're trying, but who knows, right? So, thanks, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I always appreciate it very much. We've had the time of our lives down here, so thanks, Tack.
Yeah, been a blast.
We'll do another one next year.